Some of the negatives that were found by the users of George R. Martin's website included design, layout, and pop-up ads. All of the users thought the layout and design of the whole website was awful and hard to like as it looked really dated and old. One user even mentioned it looked like a grade 6 had put it together. The other main negatives found were the pop-up ads that were on the home page. The users all thought it was really distracting, and when you clicked on some of the ads, they didn't even work or took you to a completely different website that wasn't even relevant. The most common findings with the website found were the loading speed, navigation system, and design. Across all the users, they found the loading speed of the website to be a lot slower than other websites that they normally use. The other thing we found when testing the users were they all thought the navigation system was really weird and confusing on some of the links as none of the designs or layouts matched across the website. So it was really hard to even go back to the home page, let alone do other tasks. The last thing we found was that not one user we tested on liked the design or layouts of the website. The main improvements needed to make this website more user-friendly would be to change the design and layout into something that was simplified and not so clustered. They need to remove some of the pop-up ads and make sure all the links to them actually work. The other big improvement would be to develop the navigation system into something that flowed a lot better, while keeping the design and feel of the website the same.
Many users said that they liked the map function and how when they hovered over a property it highlighted where it was on the map. The layout was another part of the website that users commented on, saying it was visually pleasing. The variety of accommodation that Airbnb has to offer was a highlight for several people, as well as the urgent accommodation feature which helps people to find accommodation when a disaster occurs. When comparing the results of our usability tests for Airbnb, we found that all of the negative points made were about the filters. Several users commented that the filters were not easy to locate, that the buttons were too small, and that because the color of them isn't different to the background of the rest of the web page, they weren't easy to see. The price filter was also found to be difficult to use. Inputting an exact price was time-consuming and often impossible because of the slider function. Some users also commented that the price filter didn't tell you whether or not the amount you were inputting was the value for the whole trip or per night. Recommendations for improvement on the website were about the filters, particularly the price filter that a couple of users suggested would work better if you could input data rather than use the slider function. However, it was also pointed out that the filters on the app are much easier to use and find than those on the computer site, and perhaps if they were compared, they could improve the web version.
The learnability of the Public Transport Victoria website was really good. While first-time users initially struggled to get used to their surroundings, people that had experience with the website found it super easy to navigate. All users preferred to use the journey planner rather than look at timetables, as it was an efficient way to organise your trip. Some of the negatives that were found on the PTV website consisted of the lack of information surrounding disruptions to train lines, as it was on a different part of the website, and the similar looking icons that people struggled to distinguish between. Pictured here on the screen are two of the same icon but coloured differently. These are supposed to represent V-Line trains and Metro trains. While this isn't such a big difference, the orange bus icon has a very similar counterpart, which is coloured purple to represent coaches. Coaches are entirely separate from buses and require ticket purchases rather than myKeys, which can make it hard for people to use as an alternative.